Hello beautiful souls, this is Deluxe from Girl and Her Moon, and we are at that time again when we have a full moon and lunar eclipse. This time the full moon is in Cancer, which we didn't have in 2019 at all. So the very first full moon in 2020 is in Cancer, emotional Cancer, and it is accompanied with a lunar eclipse. And with the energies, we will be focusing on our emotional needs with the will and intent to heal those needs. We may, as we know, Cancer is a very moody as well as an emotional sign because it's a water sign, and so we are probably going to be analysing our fears, our vulnerabilities relating to our emotions, and whatever house that we fall in during this time, the focus will also be within that house, as well as I will go through with all the signs further down. So depending on where you are in the world, the powerful full moon and lunar eclipse will occur on the 10th or 11th of January at 20 degrees. 20 degrees is very powerful as well, because the closer you get towards the end of the house that it sits in, the degrees, where it is from 1 to 30 degrees, it becomes stronger as the numbers get bigger. So the intensity is high, and the energies of this moon with the eclipse is high anyway. So the moon will be visible throughout Europe, Asia and the Pacific and Atlantic regions. So if you are in those regions, keep an eye out. It will be very visible, even though you may not see the moon itself fully. You'll just see the halo. It will be like a ring, because the inside bit of the moon will be an eclipse, but you will see the halo around the moon. So the energies of the Cancer moon, what does it all mean? How will it impact you, or the community, or the world in general? So basically, when the moon it goes into a lunar eclipse, on this day the moon needs to return to its inner world with the lunar eclipse to understand its needs, to charge itself and to seek out what is peaceful. It needs solid roots and trust by avoiding all that is out of the ordinary. So it is generally subjective and concerned, but with Virgo being its rising sign here with the Cancer full moon, there is also added delusion and anxiety and kind of nitpicking as well. So if you're having some issues, you may be analysing it or over-analysing it, and as it is the Cancer full moon, the energies will be like over-analysing and kind of being very emotional about it, and it can kind of go haywire. So we need to kind of ground ourselves and come back to earth in that aspect. So the full moon encourages you to share your deepest feelings with someone or others you trust, while being willing to allow another or anyone else to be vulnerable with you, basically. Since the full moon is taking place in the sign of its rulership, you can expect it to be particularly powerful and intense. It's like triple whammy. The moon being in its ruling sign, Cancer, is ruled by the moon, and also being in Cancer and the lunar eclipse. And also the first full moon of the year, basically. So why are eclipses so important? Well, they're important because they're karmic, and most important events usually happen in and around eclipses, whether they be good or bad, depending on what kind of karmic seed you planted in the recent past. So karma doesn't necessarily mean that it's from a past life. It could be something that you did a month ago, and it will come back and either return to you in a positive or a negative way, depending on what your intentions were. So it may be the result of a seed or intention that has been sown, which will give back amazing results, or basically you will reap what you have sown. So you'd say, why are eclipses karmic? How can they be karmic? Okay, so eclipses are like a switch-off button, where the universe switches off for a few moments our energy sources. So whether it's a solar eclipse or a lunar eclipse, it's like our energy sources are switched off for a short time, and the moon or the sun disappear for a short time and becomes invisible, and so the universe will restart the energies of destiny. And because eclipses occur when the moon touches one of the moon's nodes, so whether it's the north node or the south node, if the moon touches one of these nodes when it's in an eclipse, it is usually it does happen when it's in an eclipse. And the nodes in astrology are used to determine your divine destiny in some way. So we, as astrologers, we analyze where your nodes sit in your natal chart, in your birth chart, and we see where you're coming from and where you're heading in some way. So we look at your past and we look at your future, sole purpose here on Earth. So this restart button that I've been talking about, when it touches the nodes, or when I say the restart, I mean the eclipses, when it touches the nodes of the moon, it means that it's there to reorganize and divert you into the path, no matter how much you have kind of shifted away from. So it's like a wake-up call in some way, or a push that is kind of pushing you towards where you're meant to be, where you're meant to be going. So whether it's a smooth sailing type of way or a chaotic type of way, it will kind of push you towards that way, and the energies will be felt because they are very life-altering to many people. So what will the effects of the Cancer moon, full moon eclipse be like? So the full moon and lunar eclipse in Cancer at the moment will, well, when it's in full moon, it will be in axis, or means opposite Capricorn, which is situated in the 5th house of love, and the moon will be in, it will be in the 11th house. So the 5th house of love will contain 5 planets during this time. So these planets are Mercury, Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter, and the Sun. So I don't know if we should include the Sun as a planet. So 4 planets and the Sun. and they are all gathered together, celebrating the house of love, creativity, joy and happiness. So these 5 planets in Capricorn and the lead up to Uranus that will be going direct on January 11th, which is also a good thing, but it kind of like eases off the intensity of all that's going to be happening. But on January 12th, we will be actually experiencing something that happens only every 35 years. And it's called a Saturn-Pluto conjunction. And the Saturn-Pluto conjunction is a very powerful time. The energies are transformative. It can transform your life, basically. So the Saturn-Pluto conjunction after the eclipse will mark an important turning point for everyone individually and as a general whole, as a society and the world, because Saturn-Pluto conjunctions, when we have Saturn-Pluto conjunctions, it means out with the old, in with the new. So, as I said, this aspect happens every 35 years, and this process brings an end to certain energies, and some come to a crossroads or turning point, and usually for systems that do not work anymore to be broken down or defeated in some way. So particularly the fact that Saturn and Pluto will be at 22 degrees, again, as I explained before, as the degree kind of goes higher, it becomes more intense and more life-altering. And 22 in numerology is like it's a master number. It is the number of the masterful spiritual builder, or someone who actually is like counseling for the whole of society in some way, or the world in general. It's like a channeler. So if you listen to people that channel online, similar to that. So it's like it's a master builder. They could be inventors as well. So like jobs, or you know, people who have invented all this technological stuff that has changed our lives so much in the recent years. So master builders and also teachers. That's what the master number 22 indicates. And so this conjunction with the Saturn-Pluto indicates that the leaders in the world, or even in small groups, it doesn't matter, in general, leaders in general, or authority figures, if they are abusing their power in some way and imposing their power in a negative way and oppressing whoever's under them, there will be some sort of suffering or destruction in some way to their power or their position. It may be that their position will be terminated. So the world, how it operated up until now, as in general whole or individually, will change, and a new way of being, a new order will be established in some way. So a new any situation that is outdated, any situation that is outdated or is old, you know, anything that's old is out now. It's time for the new. As we have entered the Aquarius age as well, it's like more to relating to humanity in general. So soon we will be going into Aquarius season, and that's when you will see, as you know, Aquarians are the rebels of the zodiac, and you will start to see people starting to rebel against authority figures in some way, and kind of breaking down the structures. So they're the type of energies. It's like a chain reaction. So this chain reaction starts with the full moon in Cancer, the full moon and lunar eclipse in Cancer, and then it will kind of continue on with Uranus going direct, and then the Saturn-Pluto aspect that happens every 35 years, which is life-altering in general, so individually or the whole world. And then Aquarius season coming in, it's like a chain reaction of cleansing in some way to start new systems, new way of being. So any situation that, as I mentioned, that is outdated, they will end on these dates or around these dates, both socially, generally as a whole with the world, or individually. Transformation can be painful, but it will be necessary for growth and pushing forward. So as I said, the Saturn-Pluto conjunction is a time for endings, clearing, transformation, and to rise from the ashes once more. Okay, so what do the signs, how will the signs feel these energies? So we'll start with Aries, and Aries will be in the 4th house, and the 4th house rules the home within you as well as the one you grew up in, not the one you live in at the moment. It's the home within you. So because as the moon goes inwards, all of the signs will be going inwards as well. The 4th house is, it rules the home within you and the one you grew up in, and it's governed by Mother Moon. It's the ruler is the moon. This area of the chart can determine your roots, sense of security, and emotional foundation. So this house also revolves around your connection to the past, along with your ancestry line. The key phrase for this lunar eclipse is "I feel." So if you tend to phrase your sentences as you reflect inwards to yourself with "I feel," you will be more in touch with your inner world, and all that will be clarified in some way. So radical changes in your foundations of your life are awaiting for you, Aries. So let's see what we have with the tarot for you. And we have a beautiful 6-card layout. And so let's see what comes up for Aries. Okay. Sometimes they seem like they're going to flick out, but then they go back into the deck in some way. Okay, so Aries, your current emotional state. Okay, emotionally you feel strong, or you could also feel like you're overpowering others as well. Okay, so the emotions may also be strong. You may be feeling emotions strongly during this time. Okay, we do have the Strength card, so the Strength can mean that you are emotionally strong during this time. There are many Aries out there and they all experience it differently, but the general theme is strength. So it's either you are strong emotionally or you are feeling the emotions strongly, vice versa, and or you may be emotionally in a position where you are affecting others strongly. Okay, so that's coming through as that. The second card here is what you need to nurture and what is your vulnerability and how you are ready to evolve. So what you need to nurture is your heart. And what is your vulnerability? Expressing what's in your heart. Okay, so maybe you have a hard time expressing your feelings in some way. And once you do that, that's how you will evolve. Okay. The third card here is what you must listen to and where is your sensitivity heightened during this lunar eclipse. So what you must listen to is looking at others who are at a loss in some way. Okay, so maybe it's time to do some charity work, help people. So what you must listen to is others' worries, others' concerns. There are a lot of people out there maybe that have lost something and it's time to hear them out and maybe give them a hand. Okay, so what you must listen to and where is your sensitivity? That's where your sensitivity is. So if you listen, you will be sensitive to those energies and maybe you can actually be a healing hand to those that need. Okay. So the fourth card is what kind of karmic pattern is ready to be released? Okay, so maybe in the past you had this idea that if you are financially wealthy, okay, not necessarily successful, but if you are financially wealthy, then all will be well. And this is a karmic pattern that is probably something that you need to release because it is, you probably have realized that maybe it's not supporting you as much as you thought it will. Maybe that's not the whole key. Okay, maybe that is not everything. Maybe you desire something else now. Okay, so time to release that. Okay, the fifth card here is what kind of ancestral pattern is ready to be released. And we have the Hierophant here, and Hierophant represents the Pope or the priest in some way, or a preacher or guru, someone who preaches to the general public their wise words, their words of wisdom. This could be someone religious or spiritual, depending on their beliefs. So the kind of ancestral pattern that is ready to be released could be some sort of religious or spiritual beliefs that do not serve you anymore, or it could be the belief of, because the Hierophant also represents marriage, monogamy, and it may actually dawn to you that that's not so important as well. It could be like an ancestral pattern that has been happening and you are realizing that that does not serve you anymore. So maybe it's best not to go that way, or conforming to the ordinary, okay, to the community in some way is not working out for you. So you're trying to find your own path, or trying to listen to your own drama within you. So that's the type of ancestral pattern that you need to release. Okay, something that was the norm that continued until now, that you realize that does not serve you any longer, and it's time to release that. Okay, so the next card, the last card, is the Queen of Swords, and it represents what can you consciously let go of. And the Queen of Swords represents independence, or this is like, independence is good, but this with the Queen of Swords, it's to the point where, you know, you're fiercely independent. Okay, so independence is good to a certain degree, where it doesn't become hurtful, where the Queen of Swords can become hurtful. Okay, so especially with her words, she can be very hurtful. So if you are consciously aware of your attitude or the way you speak towards others, maybe you will realize that sometimes you are being hurtful just because you want to be independent, or you want to contain your independence. Okay, so that will not serve you any longer as well. So it's time to consciously understand and realize that, and let go of that as well. So Aries, that is your Astro-Tarot, and enjoy the moon's energies. Taurus, you are in the 3rd house, and the 3rd house governs your thinking process, style of communicating, cognitive functions. It also determines the energy of your general exchanges along with your immediate environment. This includes your siblings, cousins, neighbors, and early education. The 3rd house also influences your voice via writing, speaking, media, or communication arts. Now, the key phrase is "I think." So if you use this key phrase during this time, it can actually help you. So Taurus, your speeches and your communication style with your environment are important during this time. And you need to determine a new direction in situations related to your close circle, family members and relatives, neighbors and siblings. Okay, so let's see what the tarot has to say for Taurus, and we have a 6-card spread for Taurus. Okay, so 6-card spread for this Cancer full moon and lunar eclipse, as it is a karmic energy. Two more cards. Okay, Taurus, with the first card, this card shows your current emotional state, and when I look at this card, I see that maybe there was a separation or you've been hurt. Your heart has been broken in some way. So you feel down in that department, and you feel the emotions strongly. So that's your current emotional state. Okay, so the second card here is what you need to nurture and what your vulnerability can teach you, and how are you ready to evolve. Well, what you need to nurture is possibly the child within. Okay, what you need to nurture is the child within, and your vulnerability comes through the child within. Okay, so you need to realize what your vulnerability is. Maybe in the past you have been hurt, and that is your vulnerability as well, and you don't realize. So kind of go back to your childhood years or when you were younger and reflect and see what it was that, you know, hurt you in some way, and made you more vulnerable in exposing your emotions. And once you do that, once you find out what it is, then that's how you can evolve. Okay, you will evolve and be over with that fear in some way. Okay, so the third card is what you must listen to, and where is your sensitivity heightened during this phase. Nine of Wands represents you must listen to others as well, and don't be so defensive when they do suggest certain situations to you. Okay, so this is a card of defensiveness. It is saying you must listen to others, and don't be defensive. So don't be defensive in your communication style as well. Okay, be a good listener during this time, and your sensitivity will be heightened in this area. You may actually become very defensive, and you may not even realize it, and you may start putting boundaries around yourself as well, that you don't even really need that much. Okay, healthy boundaries are good, but you may actually be putting walls around yourself, which may result in you being distant in some way. Okay, so the fourth card is what kind of karmic pattern do you have, and what kind of karmic pattern is ready to be released. Okay, maybe some sort of karma. I mean, karma doesn't necessarily mean it's something from a past life only. It can actually be something that you seeded or intended a few weeks ago. Okay, so what is it that you need to release that is starting to become a karmic pattern? Okay, and this is being undecisive, and also kind of even if it's looking at you, staring you in the face, feeling like you don't have clarity. Okay, that's because you're being undecisive and you don't know which way to turn. Well, if you don't know, maybe it's time to ask for help. But yeah, being undecisive is an issue at the moment. Okay, so that's a karmic pattern that's come up. Maybe you put someone in that situation in the past, and now you're feeling the same feelings at the moment. And you don't want this karmic pattern to continue. Okay, what kind of ancestral pattern is ready to be released? Something relating to the home and family. That is, if there is something negative relating to the family and the house, the home, the house as in the building or the home. So this type of pattern is ready to be released. It needs to be released so that there could be peace and quiet and harmony within the family and the home. Okay? Maybe there's a lot of arguments in the home, within the family, and it's become like a family pattern. That's also an ancestral pattern as well. Maybe it kind of is something that comes down from your grandparents to your parents, and now it's kind of being imposed upon you, and you don't maybe really like it. It's time to break that pattern. Okay, so that's what's coming through. Okay, the last card here is, what can you consciously let go of during this lunar phase? So it is saying that if people have moved on, there is no reason why you should keep going on with a situation that is a lose-lose situation. So move on, let go and move on. Okay, so consciously remove what it is from your mind and move on from that situation. So Taurus, that is your Astro-Tarot. I hope you have enjoyed that. Please enjoy the lunar energies. It is life-altering, and go within and do your ritual. Gemini. Gemini is in the second house, and this is a house of money and material possessions. So money and material possessions, this includes your finances, Gemini, as well as your personal belongings and your relationship to the gifts you possess, both physically and spiritually. So your self-worth and self-esteem also comes within this house as well. So this house governs that aspect of the personal qualities as well. The key phrase that you should be using during this phase is "I have." So that can help you in some way. And Gemini, your focus is on financial issues. This eclipse, which has constructive effects on material and spiritual issues, asks for emotional structuring. Okay, so let's see what the tarot has for Gemini. And we have a 6-card layout for the Cancer full moon and lunar eclipse. And let's see what comes up. Okay, so they quickly reveal themselves. Now the first card we have represents your current emotional state, and we have the King of Wands. The King of Wands is a suit card in the fire element, and it's the most mature masculine energy. So fire element is like active and reactive and outgoing and fast-paced, action-orientated, ideas. Okay, so it's like being open to new ideas, being open to ideas, maybe even suggesting ideas. Now, emotionally, you feel like there's a lot of potential for new projects, new things to happen, and there's a lot of adventure, that adventurous feeling that comes through with the Wands qualities, the fire qualities. So that's your emotional state at the moment. So it feels very exciting. Okay. So the second card here is what you need to nurture and what your vulnerability can teach you, and how are you ready to evolve. So what you need to nurture is yourself, basically, yourself, and you have to stop putting yourself in that position of the self-imposed prison. You feel like you need to be stuck in a certain situation, and you don't need to be stuck in that situation. And your vulnerability is that if you actually release yourself from that self-imposed prison, maybe you wouldn't know what to do. But believe me, once you do, you will actually evolve by doing that. Okay, so that needs to be released, and you need to nurture yourself as you are releasing yourself from that self-imposed prison. This is a type of mentality or mindset that you need to alter and change. It will not serve you any further. It's best to release that condition. Okay, the third card is what you must listen to, and where is your sensitivity heightened during this phase? Okay, we've got the Empress, and Empress is the typical card for mother or mother figure. So what you must listen to, a female in your life, your mother, a mother figure. This could also mean the moon itself, you know. Listen to it, listen to the energies, and kind of find what they're trying to say or express to you in some way. Okay, and so where is your sensitivity? Your sensitivity will be heightened within your creative areas, as well, relating to mother figure, someone in your life, a female. It could be maybe you becoming a mum, or someone in your life who's becoming a mum as well, because it is relating to creativity, as the Empress is a very creative energy, female energy. Okay, the fourth card here is what kind of karmic pattern is ready to be released, and something relating to the way you work. Okay, so the routine to the way you work, it's become some sort of pattern that started recently, or in the recent months or very recent years. I don't see this as something that is from a past life, and it may be something that is coming from, say, even the longest period I can depict in this card is 8 years. So something you started maybe 8 years ago, 8 weeks ago, 8 months ago. Okay, but it relates to the way you work. Now, that pattern has to change. Okay, and something about the work you do. Okay, something about not just only the way you work, but what you're working on, what you're trying to master. It needs to change. It needs to, that pattern needs to be released. It does not serve you any longer. It's like using a old Nokia phone. It doesn't serve you anymore, because we have all these brand new smartphones. Would you rather use a smartphone and carry your personal computer around with you, or use one of those bricks? Okay, so that's just like an example, but that's what it means. Something is outdated in the way you work or what you're working with that needs to be released. Okay, so what kind of ancestral pattern is ready to be released? If there was an issue of giving and receiving within your family lineage, whether it's relating to financially giving and receiving, or emotionally giving and receiving, something about giving and receiving, if there has been some sort of fallout with family as well, it's time to release and let go of that as well. It's time to clear that and clear the air and keep the flow happening in giving and receiving. Okay, so that's coming through. And the last card is, what can you consciously let go of during this phase? And what we have here is the 10 of Pentacles. The Ten of Pentacles is relating to either real estate, the home you live in. It could be the home your family lives in. It's like extended family, but something relating to also your ancestors. Okay, this could be like an inheritance. So what can you consciously let go of? Something related to family or your ancestors that does not serve you any longer. Okay, it could be something also like an inheritance. So kind of, if you were expecting some sort of financial help or funding from family, maybe it's time to release that kind of thought as well. Okay, so that's coming through with that. But this could also mean that if you feel that family is going to be a burden onto you, this is also the vice versa, the other end of the stick. Well, if you feel like the family will be like a burden onto you, or you will feel oppressed or under pressure in some way, you have to consciously remove that thought and understand that they will be there to always support you. Okay, so that also comes into the picture as well. Okay, so Gemini, that is your Astro-Tarot for the Cancer Lunar full moon and lunar eclipse, and enjoy the moon's energies. Cancer. Well, Cancer, you are in the first house, and the first house governs your physical appearance, the image you portray, and the first impression you make onto others. Here, the energy of the zodiac archetype also describes the way you start something new. So, the key phrase you should be using during this eclipse is "I am." And Cancer, this is your eclipse, which is in your sign, and you are coming to a significant stage of change in your life, particularly related to intimate relationships, family and the home, and your emotional structures. Okay, so let's see what the tarot also has to say. We have a 6-card layout for this particular moon phase. Let's see what comes through. So 6 cards. One last card. Okay, so it jumped all the way. There we are. Okay, Cancer. The first card shows your current emotional state, and we have the Chariot. And the Chariot represents your energies being out of alignment. Okay, so you're also known as a sign who is moody and unstable with your mood, and you can become very emotional. So with this card, it shows that you need to kind of align your energies. If you see the Sphinx there, they're kind of pulling the Chariot in different directions. So it just means that you need to align your energies. You need to set your energies into alignment, your emotional state as well. And the Chariot Chariot is the tarot card that represents Cancer as well. Okay. Alright, so the second card is what you need to nurture, what your vulnerability can teach you, and how are you ready to evolve. What you need to nurture is your broken heart. Okay, so if you've broken, if your heart has been broken, or you have broken someone's heart just recently, you need to nurture that. Okay, so you need to nurture your heart or someone else's heart that you have broken, and what your vulnerability can teach you is to be vulnerably open. If you've hurt someone, be open with them and show them that you care. And if you've been hurt, maybe you have to express what it is that you felt. And by doing that, that's how you will also evolve. Okay. Alright, so the third card here is what you must listen to, and where is your sensitivity heightened during this phase. So the Ten of Pentacles represents family, even extended family. So what you must listen to is family and the reality of the facts that family expresses to you in regards to your situation in some way. So listen to them, and your sensitivity will be that the energy will feel a bit heavy because you are a water sign, and this earth sign can make it feel a little bit feeling a bit stuck. Okay, so you need to kind of feel the energies, see what works for you, and kind of move on from that. So the fourth card here is what kind of karmic pattern is ready to be released. Maybe you had two situations that you were trying to balance or keep in balance, and this karmic pattern needs to be released. Maybe you need to focus on only one situation. Okay, this could also mean that maybe you've been struggling with finances and trying to balance things out. Well, maybe that kind of mindset keeps you there, so it's time to change the way you think about money as well. Okay, that's coming through. So the fifth card here is what kind of ancestral pattern is ready to be released. And maybe you heard from, say, your parents, and maybe your parents heard from their parents, and their parents heard it from their parents, etc. So it's like an ancestral pattern of mindset that comes through saying, if you do not work hard, you will not gain anything. So working hard is the only way. Okay, that does not that is not the case anymore in our world. That has changed. It's not about working hard, it's about working smart now. So you have to kind of release that ancestral pattern that's in you and start working smarter rather than harder. Okay, and the last card, last but not least, what can you consciously let go of? And we have the Knight of Swords, and the Knight of Swords represents jumping into situations with haste or swift action. So this is also something that happens within your mind. It's not just physically jumping into situations. It could be like jumping to conclusions in the mind. So you have to kind of quieten your mind and be a little bit more, listen to what you're thinking, and then maybe analyze it a bit before you jump to conclusions. Okay, so that's what you need to let go of, that way of thinking. Okay, so that is for you, your Astro-Tarot, Cancer, and please enjoy the moon's energies. Leo, you are in the 12th house, and the 12th house is a house that rules your secrets. So it's not secrets in general towards you, it's your secrets. So this is the house that rules your secrets, the parts of you that are hidden, your subconscious, your actual dreams and nightmares. It governs your karma, soul growth as a result of self-undoing, and hidden strengths and weaknesses. So the key phrase during this time is you should use is I believe. It will help you in some way. So Leo, in your inner world, you will make some decisions when you go within. These issues can be related to family and or your emotional well-being. You may be more interested in your physical, mental and spiritual health during this time. Okay, so let's have a look and see what the tarot has to say relating to the full moon and lunar eclipse for you, Leo. And we have a beautiful 6-card layout. Because it is a bit of a karmic, the energies are quite karmic, so our layout is also relating to some sort of karmic issues that need to be released. So 2 more cards for Leo, and we've got 2 cards. Okay, so the very first card shows your emotional state, your current emotional state, and it shows that emotionally you have closed yourself off in some way. Okay, so you have closed yourself off, you're being a little bit stingy with your emotions or yourself. You don't want to share yourself with anyone, you don't want to share your emotions or even your thoughts. Okay, so you don't want to share yourself, which is depicted by those there that are on the earth, and your feet are there. That's where we channel the energies of the earth through our feet. So that's showing you, okay, you're a part of the earth. So you don't want to share yourself. You don't want to share your emotions, which is the heart, and you don't want to share your thoughts, okay, which is the mind. So basically you've closed yourself off in those 3 aspects, and that's how you feel, your current emotional state. That's how you feel at the moment. Okay, the second card is what you need to nurture, what your vulnerability can teach you, and how are you ready to evolve during this time. And we have the Sun card. The Sun is also a Leo card. We see the sunflowers in the background there. So what you need to nurture is your happiness, your well-being, your joy, your the child within. Okay, so you need to nurture that, and it may be that you need to be vulnerable to be able to evolve during this time. As the child who's there, you know, naked, it just shows vulnerability. Being the child and naked shows vulnerability in its most purest form. So maybe you do need to be vulnerable to be able to evolve during this time, okay? And realize your vulnerabilities that way. So the third card we have here is the Wheel of Fortune, and this shows what you must listen to and where your sensitivity will be heightened during this this phase. And what we get is that you must listen to the flow of energies. Okay, so which way is the energy flowing today? Which way will the energy flow tomorrow? So learning to listen to your intuition, trying to see which way the flow of the energies are going, and kind of going with the flow in some way. Okay, so that's what you need to listen to the energies, and your sensitivity will be heightened during this time, relating to maybe you're feeling very lucky or unlucky. Your sensitivity will lie in that aspect during this time. Okay, so the fourth card is what kind of karmic pattern is ready to be released, and what I see is something relating to recognition or honors or success and fame. So the karmic pattern that you started, and karma doesn't necessarily mean something from a past life. It could be something that you seeded a month ago. Okay, so something in the recent past, or even like a year ago. So your understanding of success may not be serving you. So that could be a karmic pattern that has probably become a pattern in some way that you don't want to continue living that way. So needs to change. Okay, and move on from that mindset or way of being. So what kind of ancestral pattern is ready to be released? Okay, we have the hangman. The hangman is someone who is like a martyr, willingly hanging themselves, being patient in the background. So what the hangman is saying in this aspect is, if you have been taught to be patient, to be quiet, to be still, to not be yourself and to be the way you're meant to be in some way, maybe it's time to release that. Okay, so that's kind of like what maybe your parents taught you, and it could be something that their parents taught them, etc. It's like an ancestral pattern. But this card also shows that you need to learn to also find a way to see and perceive things from a different perspective, and that is something maybe your ancestral pattern hasn't been doing, and it's time to do that as well. Okay, that's coming through that way. Okay, so the last card represents Nine of Swords. What can you consciously let go of? Mind chatter, worries, and also a way to find a way to put yourself to sleep. Maybe you're having insomnia problems lately, so you need to kind of find a way to let go of situations that are keeping you up at night. Mind chatter, worries. Okay, so you have to find a way to consciously remove those, and it's time for that to happen. Okay. Okay, so Leo, that's your Astro-Tarot. I hope you enjoyed that. Please take advantage of the lunar energies during this time. They are life transforming, and until next time. Virgo, you are in the 11th house, and the 11th house governs your personal goals and the areas of your life that fall under the umbrella of your wishes, your hopes, your true inner purpose, and your sense of community. So the 11th house also revolves around teams, tribes, friendships, groups, and extended network. The key phrase during this time that you should be using is I know. It will help you in some way. And Virgo, there are issues related to your future expectations relating to social groups, friends and associations. Okay, and during this aspect there will be fateful occurrences relating to your friends. Okay, so let's see what the tarot has for you. And we have a 6-card spread for this lunar phase. And let's see what comes through for you. Another 3 cards. So the very first card represents your current emotional state, and we have the Cups card here, the 8 of Cups. Cups represents emotions and feelings. So your current emotional state shows that you feel like you just want to turn around and leave. Okay, so that is your current emotional state. You just want to turn around and leave. Just leave, go. Okay, so the second card is what you need to nurture, what your vulnerability can teach you, and how are you ready to evolve. Now, what you need to nurture is yourself. You need to nurture yourself, release yourself from all these worries and the mind chatter that you have, so that you can overcome issues relating to insomnia. Okay, so you need to nurture yourself. And your vulnerability is, if you continue this way, you will, if you don't have, you will have insomnia. You will actually not be able to sleep. So, how are you ready to evolve? Well, once you are able to let go of all that mind chatter, the worry, well then you will evolve. It will be like a different way of being for you. Okay, so nurture yourself. That's important. You come first. Okay, the third card here is what you must listen to and where is your sensitivity heightened during this phase. And with the 3 of Pentacles, it shows what you must listen to is probably your the people in your community. Okay, so these could be like friends, people that you work with, colleagues, people in general that you come together with in some way. Okay, so you need to listen to the people that are around you constantly, and that's where your sensitivity will also be high. Okay, maybe some people will actually aggravate you, and that's probably why you feel so worried and you just want to turn around and leave. Okay, so that's the type of energy that's coming through. The 4th card here is what kind of karmic pattern is ready to be released. Okay, so what I'm getting is maybe you need to be more open with unconditional love, or respect, but to just give, and eventually it will come back in return. Okay, so do not expect. Alright, so what kind of ancestral pattern is ready to be released? And I've got the 3 of Wands, and the 3 of Wands is the ancestral pattern. Maybe you're always thinking about what to do next, but you never get to chance because you're always doing something else. Well, the ancestral pattern could be like work comes before play, okay? So maybe it's time to release that idea and start to nurture yourself in some way, okay? Maybe it's time to put yourself first and do those creative hobbies that you wanted to do. Excuse me. Okay, so the last card, we have the Three of Cups, and what can you consciously let go of? Three of Cups represent people celebrating, enjoying themselves, socializing, and it is very suiting to the house that you're in at the moment, but it represents what can you consciously let go of. Maybe overdoing it, okay, drinking too much, or it could be like you go somewhere and you think, oh, if I eat that, I'm going to get sick, okay, or if I drink that, I'm going to get sick. Maybe it's time to release that kind of mindset, okay, so maybe nothing's going to happen to you, but because you think that way, it happens to you, okay, so go out there and celebrate, have fun in moderation, but do not think about, what if I drink that, that will happen, what if I eat that, that will happen, what if I stay up too late, that will happen, what if I get up and dance and enjoy myself, people will talk. You have to stop worrying about these things, okay? So that's the type of things that you have to let go of consciously, okay? So it's your time to be out there enjoying your hobbies as well as socializing, Virgo. It's that time, and a lot of changes happening around friends and your hobbies or what you want to do, creative stuff. Okay, so Virgo, that's your Astro-Tarot for Cancer, full moon and lunar eclipse. Enjoy the moon's energies. It is life transforming. Libra. Libra, you are in the 10th house. The 10th house governs your career, work and career. So it's also your career and your achievements in society. So even if you're not working, it's about your achievements in society, how you come across to the people in your local community, etc. Your success as a person within the community as well in some way. Okay, so that comes into the picture. So it governs the areas of life where you carve out a name for yourself and make something of your life. It covers fame, material success, and your desire for achievement in general, as I mentioned before. It could be just your standing within the community, and reputation. So also known as the House of Fame and Honors, this house rules your relationship to authority, including your father figures, government, and your relationship to success and achievement. So the key phrase is I use. So if you use this phrase during this time, it will help you in some way. So Libra, you will make important decisions about family and work during this time. There are conditions in which the foundations of your whole life will change during this period. So big changes for you, Libra. Let's see what you have within the tarot. So let's see what the tarot has to show you. We have a 6-card spread with the tarot for this lunar eclipse. Let's see what comes up. Okay, so the very first card shows your current emotional state, and we have the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands represents your emotional state is adventurous. You want to adventure, you want to experience new situations, okay? And it may be a good thing, it could be a good thing, but all in moderation, basically. Okay, the second card here is what you need to nurture, what your vulnerability can teach you, and how are you ready to evolve. So we have the Five of Swords here, and the Five of Swords says that what you need to nurture is your integrity. Okay, so you need to nurture your integrity. If people have moved on from a situation, there is no use that you should be continuing to try and make it work. Okay, so you need to nurture your integrity and realize your vulnerabilities lie in that area. And once you understand this, that's how you will actually evolve within that situation. Okay, the third card is what you must listen to and where is your sensitivity heightened during this phase. Well, communications, okay, messages, communications. You may get messages sent to you. You may actually be talking to people. You may actually hear people talking about you or even gossiping about you. So what you must listen to is what people are saying about you. It could be good, it could be bad. Maybe it's a way to kind of restructure what it is that you are doing to help your stance within the community. It could be like feedback. Okay, so listen to what people are saying, and you can become a little bit sensitive when you get maybe negative feedback, but don't put too much heart on that. People will say things regardlessly, because we can get people that do help us to raise our vibrations and grow, and we do get critical people that are catalysts in some way that help us to critically find how we are operating, you know, in a negative type of way with a lesson, and then we kind of like fix ourselves or try to find a way to fix the situation. So whether it's in a good way or a bad way, they're both trying to help in some way. So don't feel bad. Okay, the fourth card here is what kind of karmic pattern is ready to be released. And maybe you're feeling too authoritative, okay, and maybe you have been too authoritative, and or you have wanting to have a structure and authority and discipline in your life. Maybe this is a karmic pattern that you have put into your life towards others, okay, or it could be that you are being put in a situation where an authority figure or a father figure, or it could even be like a partner, a male partner that is very oppressive, and you've kind of put yourself in a situation where you are going with it. Okay, it's time to release that karmic pattern. Okay, it's time to release it. It's time to let go of that pattern. All right, so what kind of ancestral pattern is ready to be released with the Nine of Wands? And the Nine of Wands shows defensiveness. Okay, so maybe you were taught to be defensive constantly, to kind of nitpick at the situation, and instead of saying yes, you always maybe started a conversation with no, or it's not meant to be that way, it's meant to be this way, you know. It's like constantly defensive, constantly putting your word across as being right in some way. Okay, so defensive is the theme here. So that's the ancestral pattern that you need to release from your system. Okay. And the last card here is what you can consciously let go of is maybe some sort of heartbreak. Okay, maybe people have broken your heart, or you feel heartbroken, or you're afraid to be heartbroken. Maybe it's time to let go of that conscious thought, because you may not realize it, but you being afraid of that can actually attract that. So try to remove that thought from your mind before it becomes a reality in your life. So Libra, that is your Astro-Tarot. I hope you have enjoyed that. Enjoy the moon's energies. It is life transforming, and it's best to meditate during that phase, and go within and realize what needs to be changed. Scorpio. Scorpio, you are in the 9th house. The 9th house is the house that rules your higher learning, including your spiritual understanding, expansion of your belief systems and personal philosophies. It rules publishing, commerce, long-distance travel, foreign languages and foreign cultures. So the key phrase during this phase or this time is I see. It will help you in some way. So Scorpio, journeys, education, beliefs, social media, legal issues are your focus areas during the lunar eclipse. Okay, so let's see what the tarot has to show us for you, Scorpio. We have a beautiful 6-card layout for the Cancer full moon and lunar eclipse energies. And let's see what the tarot will show for you. So, this is what the universe wants you to know. And one last card. So, your current emotional state comes through with the Ace of Pentacles. So the Ace of Pentacles shows that your emotional state, you're feeling quite secure and ready for fresh new beginnings relating to security, your foundations, as well as your success with finances. You're feeling very optimistic. Okay, the second card here is what you need to nurture, what your vulnerability can teach you, and how are you ready to evolve. And what we have is the Empress card. So what you need to nurture is the woman that is you, or the woman that is in your life, and this could be also a mother figure. Maybe you need to nurture your mother during this time, okay? And or nurturing yourself because you are a mum, or it could be that you are pregnant, ready to conceive. So also your creative side, you need to nurture your creative side. Okay, so you need to nurture all of that, and your vulnerability can teach you to be yourself. Okay, so it's saying that you need to be embodying this creative female energies. Okay, so creative feminine energies coming through, and your vulnerabilities, because you have those energies, you need to nurture that as well. Okay, so it's normal to be vulnerable with those energies. It's part of your makeup. You can't change yourself to be masculine when you are feminine. Okay, so you can be vulnerable in your own specific kind of way, and once you realize that and accept that, you're ready to evolve. Okay, so maybe you're vulnerable, you're feeling vulnerable because you are ready to become a mum, or you are a mum, or something relating to mum in some way has made you feel vulnerable. Okay, that's coming through as well. Understand it, accept it, and acknowledge it, and nurture it. That way you will evolve. The third card here is what you must listen to, and where is your sensitivity heightened during this phase. So it's saying what you need to do is listen to all those ideas that pop up in your mind. There may be so much, there may be so many things that you want to do or push forward, all these projects. Listen to other people's ideas as well. Okay, so gather a lot of ideas as much as you can and put them aside, because you may actually need them. Jot them down if possible, and your sensitivity will be heightened because you will be overwhelmed with all these ideas. Okay, new projects, new things to do, new way of maybe traveling. Okay, so this could also mean that relocating for you is in the works, and even the idea of moving house can be you're feeling sensitive because it's just overwhelming your way of being. Okay, your emotions. So that's coming through as that. The fourth card here is what kind of karmic pattern is ready to be released. Okay, so the karmic pattern that I see in this card is possibly you have been just dreaming about certain things and not pursuing them. Okay, so like with this card, a lot of ideas, people giving all these ideas. Maybe it's time to stop dreaming and thinking and to start acting. Okay, so that's the karmic pattern that you have been putting in just recently, possibly. Okay, because I'm getting this is something just recent. And the fifth card is what kind of ancestral pattern is ready to be released. Okay, so it's saying that when things have left you, they are gone or ended, it's time to release them and not keep holding on to them. So that's what it's saying. And this is something maybe if you've been keeping on to certain things, hoarding, you may need it for a rainy day. That kind of pattern, it could be anything. It could, that you accumulate in some way, and this kind of mentality comes through maybe your parents, because it's the fear of not having enough. Well, maybe it's time to release that way of thinking and feeling. Okay, and letting go. So the last card here is what can you consciously let go of? You can consciously let go of not being open to others emotionally. Okay, so it shows that you need to accept people with open arms, because you can see the cup there is being offered. The cup represents the heart in some way. So a heart is being offered to you and you have closed yourself off. So it's saying you need to be open to others' emotional expressions, and don't close yourself off. Let the flow happen, okay? And also, if you're feeling resentment in some way regarding an emotional issue, resentment, or feeling bored in regards to a certain way of being, maybe it's time to look at the bright side, okay? Look at the bright side. Instead of looking at and focusing at what you are perceiving that is your life, look outside the box and see your life from a different perspective, and understand it that way, okay? And release that mindset. So Scorpio, that is your Astro-Tarot. I hope you have enjoyed that, and enjoy the moon's energies. Sagittarius. Sagittarius, you're in the 8th house, and the 8th house is commonly referred to as the house of death in both literal and figurative sense. This house also rules sexuality and also revolves around rebirth, crisis and change, addiction, transformation, regeneration, and your attitude towards these things. It also rules over the relationship to other people's money, such as inheritance, your partner's money, and the money you owe to others, like debts and your taxes. The key phrase to use during this time is "I desire." Apparently that phrase should be helping you during this time. So Sagittarius, there are new steps taken relating to family income during this time. You are aware of your material and spiritual values, and you're taking steps towards renewal. Okay, let's see what the universe has to reveal to you through the tarot, Sagittarius. Okay, so we've got two. We need 6 cards for this layout. This is a beautiful layout for the Cancer full moon and lunar eclipse specifically. Okay, so we've got 6 cards. And the very first card represents your current emotional state. And what I have here is that you're a bit of a worrier, okay? A worrier as in you worry too much, okay? So you've got a lot on your mind, too many thoughts, mind chatter, a lot happening where you feel, you know, it's affecting your sleep patterns, okay? So your current emotional state is kind of like out of alignment, all over the place at the moment. Too much going on in your mind that is affecting your emotions. Okay, the second card here is what you need to nurture, what your vulnerability can teach you, and how are you ready to evolve. So what you need to nurture is your family, your home. It's not just your family, it's also your extended family. Like your parents. So if you've got your own family, your other half, your kids, your pets, as well as your extended family, like your parents, your siblings, they all come into the picture. Even your like cousins, okay? So it's time to, what you need to nurture is, it's time to need that you nurture your family all the way back. And your vulnerability, what can your vulnerability teach you? So there could be a vulnerability, an issue with that relating to family in some way that is going to be presented to you in some way, and you will evolve while trying to sort that situation out. Okay, so it could be someone within the family or related in the family, extended family, that you feel vulnerable about, and it will kind of be an eye-opener for you, and you will evolve from it. Okay, so the third card here is what you must listen to, and where is your sensitivity heightened during this time. So what you must listen to is your way of being. Are you putting yourself in this self-imposed prison? Are you binding yourself and feeling like you cannot move, you cannot do anything because you feel stuck? Well, that's only a mindset. Okay, so what you must listen to is your inner self, and trying to find where you're feeling that and how you are attracting that to your life. Okay, so your sensitivity lies, your sensitivity is heightened during this phase relating to feeling stuck. Okay, you can't move, you can't do anything, you don't know which direction to take. Okay, and it does relate to some sort of issue relating to money as well. So it's time to release that in some way. Okay, so what kind of karmic pattern is ready to be released? Okay, here we see people celebrating, drinking, and having a good time. So this is like a karmic pattern that you have put into your system, and it's been there for a long time. It has served you up until now, but now it's time to let go of that that way of being. Maybe you've been overdoing it. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with celebrating or having a good time and having a few drinks, but if you have been overdoing it, maybe it's time to do it in more in moderation. Okay, a bit more less than what you have been doing up until now. Okay, so the fifth card here is what kind of ancestral pattern is ready to be released. And the ancestral pattern that we see in this card is something relating to rest. Okay, so maybe your extended family, like your parents, what they taught you or what their parents taught them, maybe resting is not the way to keep going. You have to constantly keep going, but that's not the case. You need to every now and again rest, sleep, and recharge your batteries. That's the only way you can continue. So resting is very important, and this is the type of mentality that has been embedded into your head. You have to constantly keep working, and not resting. Well, you need to rest. Okay, you need to rest every now and again, and that is the type of thing that you need to release, that mindset that you have learned from parents and them from their parents, etc. It's like an ancestral kind of mindset that's coming all the way down to you. Okay, so the sixth card here is, what can you consciously let go of? Well, you can consciously let go of feeling like you're constantly in a chaotic situation, because you are going towards calmer waters. You are going towards a more peaceful, calmer way of being. Okay, it's slowly getting there. It's getting there. So consciously let go of the idea that you will be in a situation where you're always in hard times, or you have to fight for the situation. Okay, you need to rest and also understand that you are going towards calmer waters and peaceful type of lifestyle. So Sagittarius, that is your Astro-Tarot. I hope you have enjoyed that, and please enjoy the lunar energies. They are very transformative, and let's see what happens. Capricorn, you are in the 7th house, and the 7th house revolves around partnership, marriage, business, whether it's marriage or business related. Okay, so marriage, business partnerships, soulmates, and your attitude towards these unions. It also governs your open enemies. It also rules compromises, contracts, and mediators, such as lawyers, things like that. So the key phrase to use during this time is I balance. So if you use this phrase, apparently it will help you in some way. Capricorn, your relationships and family are in the spotlight during the lunar eclipse in Cancer. So you may be planning to get married, or probably in the process of ending a marriage. So this is the phase where, or even like partnerships, you may be in the process of signing contracts with business partnerships or completing a business partnership. Okay, so let's see what comes through for Capricorn with the tarot. So let's see what the universe has to say. And we have a 6-card layout for this specific lunar phase. So 6 cards. Alright, so the first card represents your current emotional state. Now when we look at this card, it shows that you feel quite happy because your current emotional state shows some sort of success, or success in that area. Okay, so you're feeling successful. The second card is the World card. And it shows what you need to nurture, what your vulnerability can teach you, and how are you ready to evolve. So what you need to nurture is yourself, and also what you are doing, like in trying to complete certain projects, maybe completing something in your life. And what you need to do is nurture yourself while you are doing that. And this may relate to also business relationships as well as family relationships. And your vulnerability actually lies in that, because if you see the woman, she's naked. Okay, so that shows that she's quite vulnerable. Your vulnerability lies in you trying to pursue the completion of what it is that you're trying to complete. Okay, so there is some sort of completion depicted in this card, and if you are able to complete the issues relating to home and family and business, also business could be, it could be like an overseas connection as well. Okay, so home and family and business also that has some sort of overseas connection, then you will evolve. Okay, you will evolve from this situation. Okay. Okay, so the third card is what you must listen to and where is your sensitivity heightened during this phase. Okay, so we got a King of Wands. Now, if there is a person around you that either male or if it's female with a lot of masculine energy, that is very good with people, communication as well as ideas, starting projects, business. Now, this could be someone that you work with. You must listen to them, okay? You must listen to them, and your sensitivity could lie in that area because you may actually, maybe you don't want to hear what they are going to say, but you need to, okay? So that's what's coming through. Okay, so the fourth card is what kind of karmic pattern is ready to be released. If something was out of balance, it needs to be put into balance. If something was not just, it needs to be put right. So it could also be some sort of legal issues that need to be released as well. So this probably has become a karmic pattern just recently, and it's time to release that. Okay, release it from your energies. Okay, so what kind of ancestral pattern is ready to be released? Well, with the Magician, what we see here is always being right, maybe always pushing to achieving and manifesting things, and being like the master or the magician in that area. Okay, so maybe it can be a good thing, but this could also mean maybe you don't have those qualities and you're pushing hard for that, and it's just something, it could be something that is expected from, say, your parents, your grandparents. You know, it's something that they've always done. It's like a mindset, and you need to release that, because with the Magician, there is also the energy of dishonesty. Okay, so you can't achieve success and reach the top with magic or dishonesty or illusion. Okay, so you need to release that kind of mindset. Okay, that is something that probably has been like something your family has believed, or even your extended family, or it's like an ancestral type of belief that comes through that does not serve you anymore. Okay, so you need to let go of that. Okay, so the last card here is what can you consciously let go of? And what we have here is like, if there are problems within the home or the family, you need to consciously let go of that and embrace happiness within the family. Okay, embrace togetherness and happiness. Okay, and if you are getting married or planning to get married, what you can consciously let go of is the fear of the attachment. Okay, fear of being in that situation. So you need to release that emotion to be able to fully experience that event with the highest happiness, the highest emotion of happiness. Okay, so that's coming through. So that's your Astro-Tarot, Capricorn. I hope you have enjoyed that, and please make the best of the lunar energies, as it is life altering. Aquarius. Aquarius, you are in the 6th house, and the 6th house rules your day-to-day life. It also determines your level of mindfulness and problem-solving skills. This includes your daily responsibilities, such as brushing your teeth. Okay, so day-to-day life activities that you do. Also, service to others and service that is given to you. These are also important parts of the 6th house. And also health habits, lifestyle and health habits. The 6th house also rules your domestic pets and your attitude towards routines, scheduling and organization. So organizing yourself basically. Your pets may have issues as well during this time, so keep an eye out on them. I have 5 pets that I need to keep an eye out for. So, and one of them had a cut on its foot, so yeah, needs to get that sorted out. Okay, so that is what the 6th house is, and the key phrase to use during this time is I analyze. Apparently if you use this key phrase it will help you in some way. So I analyze. Aquarius, important decisions and changes will be made relating to your health during this time. While you tend to your physical health, you should not ignore your mental health. Okay, so that's very important as well. Okay, let's see what the universe shows Aquarius through the tarot. We have a 6-card layout, which is a beautiful layout. So let's see what comes through. Okay, Aquarius, your current emotional state is, well, you feel happy because you have completed something that is, well, mostly completed, I should say, nearly completed something that was quite major in your life. Okay, so there is your emotional state is at happiness and you're feeling quite free because you've completed this huge task. Maybe your energies were quite scattered lately and you've kind of brought those energies inwards, because with the Temperance card, that's what I'm seeing. What you need to nurture is your energies. You need to align them, bring them back into alignment. And your vulnerability would be that if you're out of alignment, you can feel a lot of headaches, probably rhythmic problems within the heart. So you need to align your energies as well as get grounded. These are very important. And once you do that, you will be able to evolve through it. Okay, so the 3rd card is what you must listen to and where is your sensitivity heightened during this phase. Excuse me. So what you must listen to is, you must listen to the child within. Okay, listen to your children as well. Okay, so listen to the child within and listen to your children. And your sensitivity could be that maybe you may not like what you hear or what you feel. Okay, so it's okay. That may happen, but that's the only way you will actually realize certain things about yourself. Okay, so the 4th card here is what kind of karmic pattern is ready to be released? Well, Aquarius, up until now you have been doing heavy work or pushing projects forward. Maybe a lot of projects at the same time forward. Maybe it's time to release and let go of these projects completely. Okay? If they're not working out, maybe they're not meant to work out, and kind of dump them. Okay, so that is the type of pattern. Maybe it's just the way you are. Maybe you're the type of person who likes to do things like that. Maybe you need to change the way you're doing things. Okay, instead of doing 10 things at the same time, which is depicted here with the 10 of Wands, instead of doing 10 things all at once, maybe do 2 or 3 at once if you're a multitasker. Okay? Otherwise it becomes too overwhelming and too much to deal with. Okay, so and realize that it does wear you down, it does make you feel tired eventually. Alright, so the 5th card here is what kind of ancestral pattern is ready to be released? And what I see here is maybe you have been told that you will not be successful in something. You will not succeed in a certain thing. And financially, that is the reason why you've always felt stuck, because it's some sort of mentality, mindset that has been embedded in your system, your energy. You need to release that. This is the time to release that. It's life transforming energies, and if you do the right ritual during this time, you can release that energy and move on forwards. Okay, so the last card is what can you consciously let go of with the Ace of Swords is the way you talk in haste. Okay, so think before you talk. Sometimes you can be, your tongue can become like a sword. It can hurt people in some way. So this is saying what you can consciously let go of. Watch what you say, okay? Or even watch what you send as a message. So watch your words. Watch your expressive words in some way. Don't do it in haste, because you tend to do it in haste and you do it with hurt. And like the double-edged sword that cuts things both ways. So while you're trying to fix something, you're actually also cutting what's necessary or good in your life as well at the same time. Okay, so that is your Astro-Tarot, Aquarius. I hope you have enjoyed that. Enjoy the moon's energies, and yeah, take care. Pisces, you're in the 5th house, and the 5th house is the house of playfulness, joy, creativity, pleasure, and romance. This refers to your creative and spontaneous self-expression in all forms of play. What were you like a child? As a child, what were you like as a child? And what brings you joy? What do you like doing that brings you joy? Okay. The phrase for this time that you should be using is "I will." Apparently it's supposed to help you in some way. So yeah, I will. And Pisces, the focus of the lunar eclipse that will take place in Cancer, is related to the home and family in general, but there may be new situations relating to love or children, and your way of pleasure and joy and creativity as well. Okay, so that's coming through. So creativity could be fertility as well. Okay, so because it does relate to children as well in this house. Okay, so let's see what the universe has to show us for you Pisces through the tarot cards. We have a six card layout for this lunar eclipse and full moon. So 6 cards for Pisces. Okay, 6 cards. Now, the very first card shows your current emotional state, and we have the Page of Cups. Page of Cups, Cups represents feelings and emotions, and the Page is the inner child, or the most immature childish version of the suit, with the energies as being you are being immature and childish with your emotions. Or it could be that you're so happy about a child that's going to come into the world, or a child in your life has experienced something that you wanted them to experience for a long time, and you are so happy about that. Okay, so something relating to children is also coming through that is affecting your current emotional state. The second card is what you need to nurture and what your vulnerability can teach you, and how you are ready to evolve. So we have the Star card, and the Star card says you need to nurture your hopes and desires. Okay, you need to nurture them, and your vulnerability lies there, where you sometimes can be skeptical about, manifesting your thoughts and this and that. So you can kind of move away from that kind of thinking, that way of thinking, and if you do nurture your wishes, your desires, then you will actually evolve, and you will manifest them. Okay, so that's coming through with the Star card. Okay, so the third card here is the Devil card, and what you must listen to, and where is your sensitivity heightened during this phase. So what you must listen to is not the devil, of course, but it just means what you must listen to is the negative side. When you think negative, talk negative, listen to the negative or the toxic side of yourself, and realize what you're doing wrong. Okay, and it could be that you have a toxic habit. It could be that you are sometimes being toxic towards others, or you could be very negative, or you have a negative mindset, a way of thinking, or way of being. Okay, so whatever it is, you must listen to this way of being and put it right. And your sensitivity will be heightened, because you will realize certain things about yourself that you never thought were true. Okay, so some sort of revelation, revealing what you thought would never be you in some way. Okay, so the fourth card is the Two of Wands, and what kind of karmic pattern is ready to be released. This could be maybe some sort of attachment or friendship, the way this attachment or friendship, or even partnership. Okay, so the way it is ready to be released. So the way you work with this attachment, this could be a business partnership, this could be a soulmate connection with a friend, this could be a soulmate connection to a partner. The way you have been operating up until now, that is ready to be released, so a new way can begin. Okay, so that's coming through. What kind of ancestral pattern is ready to be released? Well, the type of way of thinking is, you know, women are ladies. They are always supposed to look good. They are always supposed to look luxurious. They are also always supposed to look constantly made up. Now that way of mentality is going to be released from you, okay? So if you have been taught, say by your mother, your grandmother, or whoever it may be, it's coming through from your ancestors in some way. The woman always has to be presentable in some way and look good, smell good, act good, be ladylike, this or whatever it is. It's time to release that kind of mindset. It does not serve you because you could be better. You could be more artsy than ladylike. Okay, so that's coming through. And the 6th card is, what can you consciously let go of? Maybe what you can consciously let go of is you dreaming all of these, you know, things you want to do, and then you kind of lose faith in them. Okay, so every now and again, this also came through with the Star card. Okay, so it's very kind of the same kind of similar energy. So you have all these beautiful things you want to manifest, all these ideas, wishes and hopes and desires, but then you kind of lose contact. Maybe you are not specific about what you want, and that is why it's not coming into your reality. You have to be very, very specific to the T. You know, you have to be very, very specific, even in regards to timing when you want it. Okay, so if you are very specific, it will be more quickly manifesting in your life, okay, in some way. So that is your Astro-Tarot, Pisces. I hope you have enjoyed that reading, and enjoy the lunar energies, and take care. Bye.